we're going to start with our Flash review.
Yeah.
Which I would like to preface right off from the start that both Ian and I do not approve of any of the Ezra behavior. The way that I feel about this movie is that all of the Ezra behavior
happened beforehand.
Had happened after the movie
yes,
was
that's
made.
What I mean. Yeah, right.
And that I see the movie as more than just the Ezra Miller project.
Right, because hundreds of people worked on this movie.
Yes.
It's all of their contributions, and I feel like we should honor that still.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also think it's important, just in general, if we're going to, have this podcast, have commentary, know what's going on maybe in the new DCU.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
This is
right.
Seemingly maybe an important movie to talk about.
Somewhat our job at this point.
Yes.
So,
but with that being said, regardless of how you feel, I understand, but that's how we feel. Yeah, I guess.
And we're going to start with some non-spoiler stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, you want to go ahead?
Non-spoiler, I guess my general impression is I really, really, really like this movie.
Yeah.
I was telling Ian before we were when we were sitting in the seats, I was just like, I don't remember the last time I was this excited because I was really excited to see Across the Spider-Verse.
I mean, for me, it was Guardians 3, which was just a couple months ago.
Sure.
But yeah.
And I was excited to see that, but there's something about this movie with all the good things I've heard about
all the build up, and years of waiting.
Yeah. And Ian was even like, yeah, I was driving over in her and I can't believe I'm actually seeing this thing.
I was just so excited on the drive here. Yeah.
I think overall, is it the best movie I've seen this year?
No,
probably not. But I think I don't understand the amount of division. I don't know if a lot of that's caused by
Ezra Miller stuff,
just having kind of a bias towards that, or if there's general complaints. But I mean, I don't know. I thought it was really great.
For me, a lot of it feels like just exaggerated backlash. I think the reactions to all the CGI are just out of proportion.
I agree.
I think yes, there are some moments in the movie where the CGI just it doesn't look good, but it's not the majority of it. It's not even that big of a minority piece of the movie. It's just every here and there you can see some CGI where you wish it was a little cleaner. But it's really not. It doesn't hinder from the movie for me that much.
Yeah, I would like to touch on that when we get to it, the spoilery section.
And I was seeing some reviews that were basically, kind of dogging Ezra Miller's performance and just the way the Flash is and how he moves through the world and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, if you didn't like him in Justice League, you're not gonna like the Barry that's in this movie. Yeah, because it's very much the same Barry. But I like that version. I like how he runs. I like how he acts.
Were the critiques he's not funny?
Yeah, I mean, I think I heard one that was there's two Ezra Millers in this movie and they're both annoying. And I'm like,
I agree, but I think what was really great about this movie with the two Barrys was the older Barry was wow, I was so fucking annoying.
Yeah,
and in a way, he started to get
he was starting to mature throughout the movie, right?
And what I also really love about this movie is that it kind of is a Flash origin movie.
Yeah, totally.
I love
in a way,
but I love how we got to see how he became Flash, but we didn't.
The lab was perfect. It was exactly as I saw it in the comics and envisioned in my head. I was like, this is it. This is what I want the Central City lab to be. Yeah.
That's cool.
Sorry. I guess.
But with regards to the critiques that Ezra Miller or the Barry character was getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you didn't like it to begin with, you're not going to like this movie. I don't know.
To me, that was like the best thing about Justice League was Barry / Flash. You know, I thought he was genuinely. I was so happy with his performance, and the suit and the way he ran. I was like, you know, it's all a bit different, but I like this version of it. You know,
I did like it.
Yeah.
This movie made me like the running he does.
Okay.
But beforehand, yeah, I wasn't crazy about the running.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I don't know what somebody at the speed of light would
look like.
Would run like.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Like, I think it's inspired. I think, you know, they went with it. It's cool.
I think it is. Yeah. So I think now we can get into some spoiler territory.
Yeah. So spoilers, I would like to start with some of the negatives first before I get into my positives, because I have a lot of positives.
Yeah.
My negatives, to touch on the CGI part.
Yeah.
It really didn't bother me, like really at all. I mean, there were times where I thought it would have been nice to have it a bit cleaner. Like when I was talking to you about the babies and that whole intro scene, some of it was a bit weird, but like, were they gonna have actual babies? Like,
no, but yeah,
you know,
they weren't going to be actual babies falling out of the sky, and there was a lot of movement, so you couldn't just like, you know, place a real baby like post edit. I don't know. I don't think it would have worked.
And I thought the idea of that intro scene with that creative like east side of the hospital falling down and what Barry had to do, I think the creativeness of it and how funny and absurd it was really like made up for whatever was lacking
visually, right?
But I think what most people's critiques are is when he's in the chronosphere and everything that's going on with that.
You know, it didn't bother me at all. Like,
it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
But what I would have, it didn't bother me. It really didn't. But what I have heard that is maybe if they went even more stylized with it, instead of making it like this halfway thing.
Where they're like renders and not actual scenes.
Yeah, like maybe if they went really stylized with it, where it was like very clear that it wasn't supposed to, like people wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah.
But
now people think they're trying to be realistic when I don't think they really were.
But I think it was close enough to, you know, like in Man of Steel, where they would have the faces talk through the Kryptonian like robots, and they would do the like, this is what happened on Krypton, and the images would move. Like, it reminded me of stuff like that. And it like, it was a little weird, but like, I don't like we were discussing, like, this movie has a lot of CGI, and I don't necessarily know how you would do the chronosphere, like look at all these scenes back in time and do it over and over again. And they're like multiple things like in this, I don't even know what kind of pattern that is. Where
I don't even know how you would manage to do that with real scenes, you know? Yeah. So,
but like you were saying, with like the one thing about the chronosphere / that whole CGI thing that was a bit jarring was, I understand why they did the George Reeves, the Christopher Reeves, the Adam West.
Yeah.
But they did have Nick Cage on set, and it was
that's
to
my
fit
biggest
with
thing.
like like if he was the only one that looked real-ish,
right?
Like maybe
then you would make him a little more CGI to match everyone else, but like he almost
looked like more CGI, which was strange.
He was the most CGI looking to me. Look, I think it's a very cool scene because Nicolas Cage, like, you get to see kind of like a scene from what the movie would have been. Like, from, I guess, you know, we know that the movie, he would have fought like this giant robot alien spider, and like the fact that he got to fight one is very cool, but like he just looked so much worse than like Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah,
like I thought he looked great, and I wasn't excited to see that character, you know, like, and I had said before that, like, even seeing the movie, that like these big cameos aren't going to mean much to me because they're just like CGI added in, you know, versions that are not like the real actors playing them, right? And to me, like, I think it would mean more if we got just actors who had played these characters. You know, like Marvel had done it with the Spider-Man, and they have a ton of characters to pull from. maybe it's just that they don't have a lot of recent DC movies that aren't like Batman or Superman, you know?
I think it would be confusing to kind of have like the Superman and Lois Superman to show up.
Sure.
Or like Christian Bale's Batman, or
yeah, right. But I don't know. To me,
actually, the Christian Bale Batman
that works because it was
cool.
such a big. But I don't think he would have wanted to be in this movie.
I don't think so.
But yeah, you know, I think the scene like where they're all like colliding and you get to see everything. Like, I think that is like that's fine. Did we need all the extended scenes of cameos? No, but like I was fine seeing like, you know, Adam West just running across like the chronosphere that was like, you know, colliding into another chrono. Like that was fine for me, and I think it showed what the chronospheres like were well.
Yeah, and I liked seeing the like, I forget the name of the first Flash, but in the black and white.
Yeah.
Like that was really cool. I know some people have an issue with the George Reeves cameo, but like, I would just like some more clarification. Like, did they get okay from the estate, or did they were like, I think we can just push it? Because if they can just push it, maybe that wasn't the best thing to do.
Yeah,
but
even then,
we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd like more information
maybe
about
the estate
that.
wanted him to appear. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I mean, but generally, I think it was cool that we got like a black and white, like old age DC world. And it was.
I think all of them were very. It felt very respectful.
Yeah,
and very cool.
But yeah, I mean, besides the Chronosphere stuff, I think this Flash story kicks ass. Like it's such a well done Flash story that is quite different from like Flashpoint Paradox. Like, I mean, first off, the intro to this whole movie is amazing. I think him getting that call from Bruce and
Alfred.
Sure, but you know, Alfred patched him into Bruce. So yes, okay. But you know, him,
the candy bar.
Yeah, and then him. Yeah, I love the little details, like him having to up his calorie intake to be able to run is great. I loved the music that played when he just bulleted from Central City to Gotham.
God, that was
such a great scene.
I loved that you got to feel the speed.
My mouth was agape. I was like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Yeah.
It was really rad.
And yeah, I think it was like hitting me at the very beginning that I was like, we've gotten a lot of cool like speedster scenes over the years for different characters. But the fact
notably Quicksilver.
Right. Quicksilver and Makari from
but Makari didn't really have anything.
She had some decent movement. And I think I
think her running scenes were done. Like I feel like you felt the force of the run with her, but I don't think there was anything like.
Yeah, and then there was also like one of Zod's, like the woman's.
Feora.
Yeah, she had some really good speed.
Sure.
So yeah, but like we had just so many action scenes where like he was so creative with what he was doing. Like you mentioned it with the you know, the hospital and all the babies falling. There was like he was like strategically maneuvering them to all fall in a line so that they would all land on this like gurney, and it was. But
he just ate a bunch of food before he even did all of that.
Right, another taking in calories to up your energy, and it was. I mean, that's just what you want for like the little details from Flash. Like we got the Flash ring, and soon after we got him like starting to phase through walls. Like Iris West came over, and he was just like, okay, gonna phase through this wall and get some beers from my apartment next door, like the apartment next door. Yeah. And I was like, that's great. Just drop in these little like things that Flash can do, because like he is a fully formed superhero, and there has been time between this and Justice League. So yeah, I think all of that was great. And then like merging into the story where, you know, it's the day before his dad's court date, and he gets, you know, emotional about what happened to his parents, and he's like, you know what, screw it, I'm running as fast as I can. I know I can go back in time. And the whole story from there is just I think it's pretty wonderful.
As soon as it got to the court, the phone call with his dad, I like realized what the movie was,
right?
And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, and I got it. And like, I was emotionally invested.
Absolutely.
I think before I go like into anything else, the one other negative I do have before anything else is very small, but there did seem to be early on this like, you're always late, Barry.
No, but that's another like, I feel like comic trope at least, where it's like the fastest man in the world's always late, you know? And,
right.
I like that trope for him.
No, I'm down with that. It's more of like, it felt like they were like him with his boss, like you should be doing more by now. And like, I thought that they were gonna like go into that of his like his work life a bit more, but it seemed like, oh, okay, well, he's just struggling at work,
right? Yeah,
and that was about it.
Yeah,
and I was kind of bummed out because I was like, well, but I think what was the point?
It builds out his life, you know.
It's a small thing, but I kind of wanted,
because I think it was important to see like what his job was, because that like it's very inspired by what happened to him as a kid, you know.
I agree. I just thought it was weird to make it a whole scene, a whole thing.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, as soon as he,
to me, it was a really great wrap up to like him like are already saying like, I'm running late to the barista, and then like he you know does the whole superhero mission in like 3 minutes, comes back to the barista, and he's like, was that long enough? And then, you know, I don't know, I feel like he's still late, or you know, like this, I don't know, I think it wrapped up really well, that whole thing,
right?
But yeah, sorry.
But yeah, I mean, him going back in time, him dealing with his other self is, they feel like the two Barrys feel like completely fully formed different characters.
Yeah, and I believe that he progressed from this younger version to what he is now, you know.
And like I was saying, getting that kind of origin story, but not was just wonderful.
I think it was too. Yeah,
just to see it that way, I thought it was extremely creative.
Implement it into a new story where it just is explained in it. It's great. I will say, you know, one thing with him traveling back and forth in time and getting to this point where he's met himself, the reveal of Dark Flash was amazing. I thought, like, basically Barry fixes, you know, he thinks he's fixed the timeline where he saves both his parents, and then he's running back to you know his current day, and midway through, this like dark being just out of like the corner of the chronosphere just starts like running down the chronosphere and just beats him into, I guess, what is,
just knocks him into that timeline.
Basically, that timeline where it's like a few days or like a couple days away from Zod's invasion.
Yeah.
So I think his reveal was great. And then, I guess I do have like a small complaint with like Keaton's Batman, but I love, you know, the fact that, you know, young Barry's geeking out the entire time about Batman.
Yes.
And I do love like the action that Keaton did, because, you know, even when he wasn't in the bat suit, like that fight in the kitchen was great.
Yeah.
And
I don't think most of that was Michael, though.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But
I think they purposefully had all that hair in his face.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can believe that. But, you know, and I think my like one weird complaint is, you know, Barry's like, well, we're trying to save this universe because my mom's in it. And you know, Bruce is like, well, actually, you think time changes this way, but actually it changes this way. And I'm like, I don't know if Bruce would know all that, but it's very plausible. He's very smart.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know. That'd be interesting. Like maybe it's just Barry's not, you know, he's really smart about things, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's extremely intelligent about, you know, time and the physics of all that. Maybe Bruce is like, no, I don't know.
I figured this stuff out years ago. Yeah,
like it's something I do in my you know, it's a hobby of mine. I like I don't sure, but it was like I said to Ian, it explains a multiverse way
really
better
well, yeah.
than fucking the MCU has at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want to say everything with Michael Keaton's Batman, and I mean everything. I don't care if like you were like, oh, he didn't have to say the "you want to get nuts" thing. I fucking loved it.
That was great. Yeah,
I love his action. I love just the Danny Elfman score. There's just so much.
There was a lot more like real depth there than like maybe not everything we had seen from his like first two movies, but like when he was really talking about his parents, like I really felt it. Like I can't recall those kind of scenes like in his original movies.
Yeah, there was a good amount of emotional depth, especially like when he dies the like last time. He's like, not this time.
But oh my gosh, I loved that too, because it was like that's also, you know, like it's a small line, but like that's like a point that always crosses too, where like Batman says that to Barry, right? Mm-hmm. Because he, you know, Bruce said it in the original timeline to Barry.
Did he? When?
Yeah, remember, like Bruce was like, "Well, it made me lonely," and Barry's like, "Well, we can hang out," and Bruce was like, "Not this time."
Oh, yeah, that's I appreciate that. That's
absolutely
pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I had a smile on my face. Like it was so cool seeing Michael Keaton's Batman fly that Batwing and it just go into the moon, and it was just so badass.
Everything was so great.
And then Sasha Calle was incredible, I thought, as Supergirl.
Yeah. I think I was a little like weirded out by her like originally, because they like she was like, well, you know, the humans have fucked me over. I'm done, you know, and then, you know, she sees like immediately she sees Zod kill some people and she's like, oh, I didn't want that. And I'm like, well, what did you think was going to happen? Because she was like, no, billions of people are going to die. I was like, well, you knew this. You knew he was going to start killing people. What changed? But I don't know. I think it was, you can really only explain it by the fact that like she, I mean, really didn't grasp it until she started seeing people die.
I can't remember if she saw it. I guess she did see it.
Yeah. And then she went back to Barry.
Yeah. Maybe she was, I don't think she went back at all. I think she was like, she stayed there and fought him.
Remember? Because she like revived, she, you know, flew Barry up into the sky when he was getting his powers back.
Oh.
Yeah, she didn't stay there.
Oh.
They had a whole talk where she was like, no, I believe you. And
then maybe, I can't remember. Maybe you're right. And she said like billions will die and then she saw it, or maybe she saw it and then said it. I can't quite remember.
I think I'm right, but yeah, I don't know. It wasn't, it's not like a huge detractor because.
But I thought she had like, I thought her character was great. And I thought
once she realizes,
well, I just think like from like everything with her, I just thought was great. And I thought her like embodiment of this character, which we haven't really seen before, was really great.
Agreed.
And I thought her action scenes were dope.
Yeah. I mean, even our first one where like you start to see the sun cast over her, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is... Yeah, it's what you want from a Superman / Supergirl character.
Yeah, she was so cool. I kind of want the Barbie of her.
Yeah, and I loved her emotion of you know, her learning when you know, like when Zod says, "Well, the infant didn't survive." Like just her emotion from that was amazing.
Scene was incredible.
So
her anger is just
I would love to see more of that character.
I would too, but sadly I don't think that's going to happen.
Maybe. She did say she had a meeting with Peter Safran about her future, but I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. So
yeah, I don't know, because I guess we can kind of get into some of that. I don't feel like I guess there's like nitpicks like here and there of like, and I think for the sake of the movie, like it would hinder the movie to see like Kara have a hard time, you know, learning how to fight. Because it took fucking, Clark like a long ass time. And there's all the like young Barry starts running back in time and he's literally just gotten his powers.
We don't know if they allowed her to like test her powers before like trapping her in that bubble,
but with young Barry, he just starts running back in time. He's never
sure.
So like there's like small things like that.
Yeah.
But I think one of the most important things that we should definitely mention is the whole multiverse, what everything that Barry does in this movie leads up to what it means for the future of DC. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it real quick, I love the one thing that I really love about this movie is it doesn't necessarily end with a big fight scene.
Yeah.
The ending is like just an emotional punch where he's basically having to kill his mom.
Well, also before that, it's a reveal that, basically all of Barry's actions throughout this movie have drove young Barry to kind of like snap and be like, no, I have to save everybody.
Yeah.
And at that point you learn that, he's the one who's turned into Dark Flash.
Right.
And
which I predicted.
Yeah, you did. And I was always a fan of that theory. And I thought that was going to be the case, but I love that moment too, where like young Barry's like, oh, this isn't what I wanted. And so he saves his older self by sacrificing himself.
Yeah.
So that was all great. Yeah. And then it was, that emotional where it was like Barry had to inevitably not save his mom, which was such a beautiful scene. It was so beautiful.
I was having, I was getting really choked up.
Yeah.
Like it was really good. It was really well done. Like there's a lot of heart and emotion in this movie.
I almost thought that she was pulling like the mom was pulling like Thor's mom, where she knew in game, but I don't think she did.
No way.
Yeah.
No way at all. Yeah. That would be insane.
That would be.
I would hate that so much.
But there was just something like when she looked at him, it was just so so personal,
But I think that's like one of those things that you're like, wow, my mom just to a complete stranger was like this loving.
Oh yeah, it's so nice.
You know?
Oh, that makes me emotional. Jeez. Yeah, so
but with I think just for like to try to wrap it up. With the larger DCU connections,
it's still very vague.
Yeah.
To put it lightly. I mean, basically, the movie ends where, the Batman in his universe is George Clooney, and which is very cool reveal. I was very happy about it, even though he's it was a horrible Batman, I think.
But
I think it's cool. Yeah.
Here's two things. Does anybody think that George Clooney's actually going to be the Batman, the Brave and the Bold?
No.
So,
right. And
then there's that post-credit scene with Aquaman, which
we had a little debate about.
Which I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
I've seen people talk about this.
Where they think like he's universe hopped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like my thought is that he was talking to Jason Momoa or Arthur, Aquaman, and was like, yeah, in all these other universes, it was, like Batman, Bruce was a different guy.
Right.
But you were kind of like the same sort of thing, like same sort of guy. And he's like, oh, I'm just the same fun-loving, like hairy, like dog or whatever.
Right.
And that to me implies that he's, since that George Clooney appearance, had been hopping around.
Because he was like, oh, this isn't the right one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it would seem to me that like through because maybe he went back in time and like had to make sure that his dad stays in jail or something.
I think he did. Unfortunately, which is kind of a bummer, but
or something happens. But whatever, the fact that his mom's dead, somehow that means that Arthur is now always Momoa. I'm guessing
maybe,
and so that's why I'm like, maybe Aquaman 2, like he'll still stay as Aquaman.
That's what I mean. Like the way they've set their universe, where they're like the universe reset is after, like, right after the Flash. That means Aquaman is in this universe. If Blue Beetle is, then Aquaman is.
But Blue Beetle's so separate that, like we were saying, like, I think Blue Beetle, like, the character might stay, but who knows about the
movie? Right.
But I think, because I don't think they're gonna have Ezra stay as the Flash.
No, I don't think so either.
So my thought is, maybe the way that the multiverse is explained in here is like, yeah, there's a bunch of intercrossing points that have to happen.
Right.
But maybe we're just like gonna transfer over, and it's like, yeah, we're just on a timeline where
these things are just different now.
Things are just different. Some of them are the same.
Right.
Some
like
of them,
Peacemaker and Amanda Waller would be the same.
Yeah.
But
which is what if I had to guess, that's what they're doing. Because if they're James has said
it's a neat way that, like, they've naturally explained the multiverse, and it's a good way to just kind of be like, yeah, things are different now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're having Peacemaker 2,
right,
which seems like it's happening, and if you have Waller and it's all being played by Viola Davis, like, and you're gonna have Creature Commandos, I mean, I think that's what I'm leaning towards is probably what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna be like, yeah, this is universe blah blah blah, and DCU is universe this, and ever since the Flash, like,
now
we
we're
have
in
the
this
multiverse,
universe, right?
You know, where all these different timelines.
Or we know about the multiverse. I guess they always existed, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Multiverse stuff is just a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot.
But yeah, that's, I think, our review on The Flash.
Yeah, I really loved it. I really had an amazing time with it.
Yeah.
It was really funny. The action was incredible and inventive and creative, and for the most part, like, I can't believe that this movie exists. Yeah, and I couldn't be happier. Like, I really had a great time. Well, maybe I could be happier.
I could be a little happier probably, but I'm pretty happy.
I'm pretty amazed that there's a Flash movie, and
finally
and we get Michael Keaton's Batman.
It took so long. Yeah.
Yeah, and Andy Muschietti, like, I'm super excited to see him do Brave and the Bold.
Me too. After all that Batman,
he did a super great job. Like, it was amazing.
Absolutely.
It was really good.
Yeah.